Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting and everything and amazing Propagandacast from your host, Imperial Dane, the one, the only master propaganda hero, like defender of the fatherland, of the glorious, riveting and amazing Propagandacast here, a 1v1 on Langraskaya in the north. It is Angreifen, fighting here for the Red Army, the Soviet Union, coming at Stalin, here with the 12th Guards tank corps with airborne troops, got motor and defensive with a special arrived command starting in the south. It is Eisernes Kreuz. Most Eisernes of Kreuzen, fighting here for the Oberkommando West, Deutschland. Fighting off here with the 14th Panzerdivision here with Luftwaffe Ground Forces, Overwatch, and Elite Armoured. So we got a double full screen start versus a conscript, probably penal trooper sniper side here for Angreifen. And as always, a big hearty thanks to my patrons, supporters, and their, as always, most appreciated support. Helps keep the Propagandacast running and doing what it does on a daily basis. A big thanks to all those for supporting the effort. Other people can follow in the heroic example by pledging on Patreon. They can donate via PayPal. Links in the description. Or you're in the market for pure comment, just one link in the comments. Use the code CoH2 as written there. Oh, you know, comment, like, share, subscribe, and there you go. First shot fired here, roughly around the 1 minute mark. I'm governing up, they're laying down some sandbags. Swiftly fortifying the centre against further fascist encroachment here from Eisernes Kreuz. That said, though, while laying down the sandbags, they also do present very easy targets here for the German Volksgrenadier. Constant falling back here. We're setting out there. For those wondering what was a Volksgrenadier, it was basically a late war infantry formation that came about partly due to the whole coup against Hitler, the assassination attempt and following coup attempt, but basically part of who was caught in it was the head of the German replacement army, and which suddenly then fell into the hands of Himmler, at which point he started, saying, let's, create these new modern, air quotes, infantry divisions that are meant to, have a lot more firepower in the form of assault rifles and the likes. On paper, nice, the reality was most of them barely received any training, so while they certainly had some fancier weapons, again, some divisions had a few months of training, most had weeks, and a lot of the division's performance typically would boil down to just how many veterans that they have to actually carry around everyone else. Fun fact. Lots of sandbags here going across both sides, both looking to fortify against the other. And of course, while they were supposed to be equipped with assault rifles, not everyone got. Some were equipped just like regular infantry, and some just had to make do with a lot of MP40s. Scout car rushing forward, so 2 conscripts, the MP1 here. Angreifen is a fan of motorization and mechanization. What is the scout car here? Bit of murdering there going on here. Some light damage to the M3A1. Sandbags there, not quite finished in time. We got a lot of sandbags here from Angreifen, in fact. 4th foot going on there for Eisernes Kreuz. A lot of infantry here from him. We'll have to see what it goes for, but could be Elite Armour, could be Luftwaffe, could be Overwatch. I mean, they're pretty much all valid at this point. The question is really, what does Eisernes Kreuz want to do versus Angreifen with this? Constantly out there for Angreifen space, 3 conscripts are flanking near scout car, more likely to be guard motor defensive at this point. Sturmpioneer charging the front flank around here, of course, his great wall of sandbags starts out a particular floor, which is, of course, it gets attacked from the side, which is exactly what happens here. Sturmpioneer charging going for the combat will here, really good push here by Kreuz against Angreifen. Scout car, they are ultimately not able to quite back things up. We do get a 4th conscript squad, so this could actually be airborne troops. Could, but doesn't necessarily mean it is, though. But because you can pretty much go for any build, and you can still go guard motor. So while this is sort of indicative of more likely being airborne troops, this could still technically end up being guard motor from Angreifen. But there you go, flamethrowers ready. Scout car heavily damaged. Might be time to pull that one back for a few repairs and a nice new paint job. Sturmpioneer charging the engineers here with the Sturmgewehrs forces backing it all up here with a heavy amount of Karna TK rifle fire constantly against the Volksgrenadiers here from several sides. Slowly being overwhelmed here. Eisernes Kreuz position here by the front line is definitely starting to look less robust, but even then he's still crucially denying Angreifen a lot of resources. There you go, we could see wiping Angreifen in the early game. And Kreuz definitely makes the attempt here, but fortune smiles upon Angreifen here, and the last man does get away from it, though I imagine his buttocks are going to be in need of some very heavy stitching. Help! I don't think I'll ever be able to sit down again. Well, good. In the Soviet army, you only advance. Aww. Coming on the west side here for Angreifen. Sandbags in the centre. Rushing them out here. Scout car being fixed up. And back here, reinforcing healing there for Eisernes Kreuz. His comfortable hut quickly up. Got the mechanized command post upgrade there. Quick bit of healing here. They're obviously not going to wait for that to get done. Kreuz, it's going to be all about speed, initiative. So, of course, he's going to get a lot of those full companies back in action as soon as possible. Sandbags there again, finish this time around. Heading westwards again, more sandbags. Angreifen is one of those advantages the third conscript has, is just you can lay down these massive walls of sandbags compared to like any other unit, which are comparatively smaller in size. So that typically tends to be one of those advantages the Surds having a smart Surd player will typically just chuck them down all over the place. There you go, down the west here, charge again here, could overwhelm the lone conscript here, didn't able to finish it, of course have to make use of the little truck. Also retreats on the west, even with the sandbags were done, probably realising that, if he sticks around for much longer, Kreuz could just threaten to flank around here and threaten retreat part of that unit. And we do get a command here from Angreifen. It is defensive with light tank guns, heavy mortars, advanced fortifications, Dishkas, and of course the anti-tank Overwatch. You do get some Sturmgears up here for Angreifen's, well, Eisernes Kreuz Volksgrenadiers, they're definitely not Angreifen's. 251-17 as well here for the Volksgrenadier. Quickly kill that poor sod. Scoutcar there pushed back. And we do get Heavy Mortar from Angreifen, of course an excellent pick here versus Eisernes Kreuz. I mean, in general, on most 1v1s, a Heavy Mortar typically tends to fall into the category of excellent pick because it's not going to be like a lot of places your opponent can easily hide from Heavy Mortar in the right place. So they can easily be excellent investments, unless you really just don't make use of the barrage ability, in which point that's your own fault, I'd say. Massive chunk of conscripts here versus Kreuz. Of Angreifen, but I don't know, I'm missing up the two players there. Oh, we got the 251-17 flak half track out there. I believe this is the Model C. There's also the later Model D, which moves the larger flak gun and makes it into a smaller turret, which also ironically opens up a bit more room in the rear. In theory, I suppose someone also used this partly then as an infantry transport and sort of like, I suppose, a very early infantry fighting vehicle. If you really, really like push definitions of infantry fighting vehicle, obviously. Conk being pushed back over the flak half track, Sturm Pini being charged with the Scoutcar, Heavy Mortar fire there, almost wipes out the unit. Conk being hammered here by the flak half track, absolutely multi out in the open. Fult's going to be pushing forwards here, undercover the flak half track. Angreifen's infantry, of course, unable to withstand the sheer firepower of a 2cm flak gun. We do get a light anti-tank for Angreifen in response to this. We've also got a light infantry gun for anti-tank gun and light infantry gun here for Kreuz. Probably help deal with this artillery, but also provide himself with his own artillery. Still, keeping up a fairly consistent piece of pressure there on Angreifen's car on there. Makes it obviously much harder for Angreifen to get out any fuel here really going from. So, thumbs up to Kreuz here. Despite the fact that the heavy mortar and not a light anti-tank gun, he's keeping up excellent pressure there. Sinking the point here. Further note, Volksgrenadiers in terms of organization, you basically sort of had this element where, like, you had two companies that would be assault companies in a battalion, and then a regular, line company with a lot of light machine guns. And then these assault companies that have two platoons of heavily equipped troops with assault rifles backed up by a platoon against sort of more heavily equipped with light machine guns. So that's sort of like how it's supposed to work on paper. But again, situation as was, by late 1945, you didn't always get that. Also, there is the conscript on the west here. Also charging on the front of X here. Get the scams against the conscripts here. In the center there, conscript being slowly overwhelmed here by the Sturmgewehr wielding Volksgrenadier. Bring up to secure the eastern point. Light infantry of Eisernes Kreuz. Number 2. Obviously, clearly not happy about the arrival of the heavy mortar, but also clearly aware that he's been able to deny his opponent a lot of fuel. He's not too concerned about a fast T-70 or anything like that. So his bigger priority in this case is probably just A, the heavy mortar, and B, all the other squishy stuff. So it's an interesting choice here, though, by Kreuz. I'm not entirely sure how many players would go for double light infantry guns in these circumstances here. But I say it's interesting, so we'll have to see, of course, where this goes. You also get some smoke here. Of course, another reason to have a lot of light artillery. A lot of smoke if you need it. And we do get a dish game machine here for Angreifen. Pushing up the eastern side. Routing the Germans with swift, violent advances. Entertaining there being hauled forwards. Truck away there for Kreuz. That'll be tech. Still no commander, though as this goes on. Overwatch could still be happening for Sector Assault, or it could be Elite Armored for some abilities there. I think at this point, Luftwaffe Ground Forces is a bit unlikely, unfortunately. Sturm Pioneer there. Theoretically could take out the Scout Clear for the rear armor with the Sturmgewehrs. Almost had it there, but fortune was smiles upon Angreifen. There you go. Truck going out here fires this Kreuz, the Schwerer Wehrmacht-Schlepper. I imagine that's going to be the Schwerer Panzer Quarters here. A push for Panzer IVs. Sandbags in the center gone. Big push here by Eisernes Kreuz right into Dishka machine gun. He does spot in time and he does proceed to get his men as far as possible out of his line of fire. The one squad does not get out in their entire and is suppressed. Of course, we do have 2 light infantry guns. I imagine that light infantry gun is going to attract some attention. In this case, smoke. It's obviously a lot more immediate. The large quickly move in. Once again, with artillery fire, of course, that's going to actually do damage or how close the shells, but it may take a bit of a while. It's like going to really take effect here. So, sharp play there by Kreuz. Also, the conscripts pushed back off the western victory point. Eastwards part fall to the hand of the Germans, but they do hit a mine, losing Otto and Ulrich there. Dishka setting up here. There we go. Schwerer Panzer quarters there for Eisernes Kreuz. And the 14th Panzer to be shown. Scout car rushing in here, the M3A1 light scout car. Ground western point here till they find the conscripts. Still being pumped to death. A mortar that keeps blasting away. He had some troops trying to mount the flank. More artillery fire around the center from the 2 light infantry guns. There you go, secure the western victory point, despite all of the heavy fire here from Angreifen's heavy mortar. Smoke deployed again, this time on the heavy mortar, interestingly enough. Or just in general around the point, I guess. Like, he doesn't quite know where the heavy machine gun is, so not knowing where it is, he's just gonna, like, drop smoke all over the place. I mean, tactically, that kind of makes sense. In this case, the Dishka, though, was completely different to where you assumed it would be, so slightly undercuts the point, but I get the idea, and then tactically is kind of sound here. And, oh boy, this is going to turn into a pretty artillery-heavy match here, at least light artillery heavy, with 2 heavy mortars versus 2 light infantry guns. That is a fair amount of boom there. Interesting enough, you don't actually see a lot of Serb players going for double heavy mortars, despite it being good. I suppose it's because it does require to have, like, you know, pretty consistent usage of the mortar barrage ability, and I assume most Serb players just can't be asked with that. I mean, I have to press 2 buttons in sequential order? This is too advanced for me. I don't know. Might be a bit true that one, but it's like, you know, it really shouldn't be that hard, but yeah. Heavy mortars can definitely lay down some pretty devastating artillery fire against any German player. More smoke here. I'm really impressed with how he just aggressively uses smoke here. A part of me does wish he'd also start to use the high explosive barrage a bit more aggressively. Does get rid of the scout car on the west here. Minor blow to Angreifen. Still no attack for him. Schwerer Panzer Quarters could soon be in the danger zone here, as I imagine here that Angreifen's going to probably look to get those heavy mortars bombarding that Schwerer Panzer Quarters in the nearer future. Black Hawk being hold forward here. Close to victory 2, which is definitely bad news for any infantry and support weapons caught in that line of fire. Dishka being flanked here by Eisernes Kreuz infantry, still kind of commandant though. Light infantry guns hanging back here, not providing any support for the attack. That I feel like could have been executed just a bit more smoothly. And there you go, close range for a heavy mortar is typically a great way for infantry to learn not to stand still in front of a heavy mortar. But yeah, the light infantry guns I think are too bit far behind here for Eisernes Kreuz to really do much in support there. Can be checking up on it for Angreifen. That of course be meaning he's moving on to the mechanized armor company. I'd be heavily surprised he went for a T-70 now. All of a sudden here, Eisernes Kreuz pushing up to 6 infantry squads here. Follows the advancing comps on the west. But he's also closing in a Panther 4. A Kettenwerfer for Kreuz. Clearly a concern about enemy armor. Not that I blame him. I also do think a priority probably should be to, you know, start silencing those Soviet heavy mortars before they give Kreuz too much of a headache. And there we go. We do get a commander here. It is Elite Armor with a 221. Emergency repairs. Panzer Commander. Heat shells. And the Sturmtiger. Fresh out of smoke screens here. Like, very consistent usage of it. Very nice to see that. I really like that. But again, I also would like maybe a bit of high explosive usage. Just, you know, just a bit. Still, there's those heavy mortars. I think bombarding them with high explosives rather than smoke is going to be a very good idea. And there we go. We do get some high explosive barrages now here from Eisernes Kreuz. Go. Heavy mortars, they've been barred by the light infantry guns. Die leichten Panzergeschütz 18. East side here, push going forward here. Flak half, flak supporting an infantry assault here. Angreifen forced retreat in the face of such a well-coordinated small-scale assault. Heavy mortar there wiped out as well. The light infantry guns, you know, doing the work. As a pair of them, as you can see, can actually be quite effective as well. Not just for deploying a lot of smoke. It's also quite effective for just murdering targets. Just here versus the Volkskriegs also got the anti-tank backing it up. No, he's probably positioning the light infantry guns to avoid counter-battery fire from heavy mortars, though so far, Angreifen doesn't seem particularly interested in counter-battering the light infantry guns. And there you go, Angreifen the first T-34s and 6. It would appear Eisernes Kreuz is planning for Panther versus Angreifen, at least. We're not seeing a Panther 4 model yet, but also having bulletins for it. So I can only assume he's planning a Panther here. I suppose Sturmtiger? I certainly wouldn't recommend that. Flak being hit once more with the M42 anti-tank gun here. Flak half track push back. T-54 from 6 halfway done. Light infantry guns here with 5 and 2 kills. T-54 almost done. The east side here, better skirmish. The Sturmtiger catching the contact by the eastern victory point and prevents them from actually rendering neutral. Nice. Save there by Eisernes Kreuz. Sturmtiger, quite a bit of manpower being flooded as well. He looks like he cancelled the opposite Darden. I guess. So as we could also go for an MG-34 if you wanted to, and there you go. T-34 some 6 ranking of Angreifen the Red Army. And there you go. Kreuz cannot go for the Panther that he's planning. Have to assume because of our King Tiger. Which seems, well, awfully ambitious, but then there's always going to be those awfully ambitious players. Doesn't matter how tricky or difficult you make it, there's always going to be that one guy who's going to, like, you know, go for the big heavy tank no matter what. So yeah, we're not seeing anything out there. It starts to look like Eisernes Kreuz might be dreaming of King Tigers. Of die schwere Panzerabteilung 506. No, I can't remember. Yeah, I'm definitely thinking that Kreuz is planning to go straight for a King Tiger, not a Panther here. And that is an ambitious strategy for sure. Again, not necessarily what I'd advise, particularly not when there's 2 heavy mortars just constantly bombarding him. I feel like some tanks like pressure that a bit more actively and aggressively would be a much better investment for Eisernes Kreuz, but here we are. I mean, if you can make it work, obviously, you know, great, but it's certainly not what I'd advise. Either way, though, good push here again. Calf point hit being attacked. Heavy mortars once more routed. Lots of reinforcement in the there we got the T-54 being hauled out. No, he goes for the Sturmtiger, ladies and gentlemen. The Sturmtiger, a mighty weapon primarily meant for blowing up city blocks and bunkers. Not so much else. Also, fun fact, German commanders weren't actually keen on using it because they weren't super accurate and they couldn't necessarily guarantee it wouldn't hit their own troops. So they were very loath to use it. And apparently one of the cases I read about, that was at the bridge at Remagen, where they called in to hit the bridge. It missed the bridge and proceeded to hit a bunch of Shermans behind the bridge, basically either knocking them out and destroying the tanks or disabling them, and crucially killing all the crews. Like, you know, very, very powerful. Obviously, I'm not entirely sure what they insist bringing to the game, because the Sturmtiger would never be able to perform like it did in the actual war without being super duper busted, and even like performing perhaps just at the faction was still kind of, you know, a bit of a problem. All the way though, Eisernes Kreuz has gone for the Sturmtiger. So yeah, a few fun facts there about the Sturmtiger. Few fun facts. Creeping up the victory point there. To line of fire the Sturmtiger. Oh boy, someone's about to explode. There we go. Surprisingly minor casualties, but again, at the Sturmtiger reflect its actual firepower, there'd be no end to it. But I don't know, it's just one of those that you really need to bring into the first place then. T-34 falling back here, line tank gun being hauled off as well. Sturmtiger being assailed by the T-34 from 6. And Eisernes Kreuz here feel will probably end up regretting going for it like that. Like, without any tank support. Shots bouncing off there. Angreifen clearly a bit hesitant to pursue it too aggressively, since, like, you know, he doesn't want to, like, take a massive 38cm rocket to the face. Well, technically, it's a rocket-propelled mortar shell. But meanwhile, again, Sturmtiger, really, really neat and all that, but doesn't really necessarily translate into great map control. So, Angreifen has been seized most of the map away here from Eisernes Kreuz and the 14th Panzer Division. Got the forces running here that comes from the west side here. A mortar firing down death from above. Heavy machine gun on the eastern point here. In the centre, a fresh wave of troops here from Eisernes Kreuz trying to grab the point with the T-34 on the way. There's obviously going to be some issues, so we'll have to see what Kreuz goes for next. Will it be the Panther 4? Will it be a Jagdpanzer? Will he try and go for a Panther? Or King Tiger? I don't know, but I would certainly recommend something a bit faster. Maybe the Jagdpanzer, because it's going to be a bit less fuel, but also good range, decent armor protection, good rate of fire, and certainly benefits from the heat shells. Note, by the way, Kreuz has got a lot of munitions, and certainly I feel like that's also one thing here. Oh, look, it's just mining a lot. But oh well. Sturmtiger rolled to the front line here. Enough Verteidigungswaffe. Little fun one there. Sturmtiger caught with the Dischke here in the east. We also got the anti-tank AWACS, which also presents itself as a bit of a threat to the Sturmtiger, as you know, one mistake and that's going to go down pretty quickly. We'll wrap the centre here. Massive throng of infantry. Kreuz definitely sensing something wrong, is quick to pull back the Sturmtiger. Very sensible choice here. Bit of a game of cat and mouse, except the cat is like just walking around with his massive mallet. It's more Tom and Jerry. If Tom again wielded a 38cm rocket-propelled mortar. Which, for all we know, he might have done in like some kind of like 1944 special. So, T-34 is coming about here. I came about to engage that one as well. Rolling ahead with a mighty Sturmtiger, hoping his opponent doesn't run at the first sight of it. And detecting flying away there, and realizing perhaps he shouldn't have fired. Fire, Dimitri! Oh, blood! He fired at the wrong thing! More shots there. So we sort of end up in this situation. Kreuz, yeah, he wants to use it, and Angreifen just typically looks to get anything out of its way before he loses it. There's a bit of a sticky spot here for Kreuz versus Angreifen. Okay, there we go. Killed one guy with it. One guy. Now he has to reload it for another 40 seconds. T-34 moving forward here. No sign of armor yet here though for Kreuz. Keep support that Sturmtiger. Here we got the T-34 up. Good shot there through the Sturmtiger's frontal armor. You also got an orbital squad out in here for Eisernes Kreuz. The Kevin got in the T-34 from 6 here. We got 404, 179. West side, we can see Angreifen is looming up the western fuel point there. Manpower continues to be a bit of a pressing issue for Kreuz. As the Sturmtiger just isn't, shall I say, able to, like, you know, carry the burden that it kind of needs to, like, you know, draw the pressure away from the infantry. Flak half deck down, great kill of Angreifen. Removes a significant source of friction for his infantry continued survival. Sturmtiger ready to fire its massive rocket-propelled mortar again. Conquering the west side, he following about the T-34 from 6 here. T-34s are easily escaping here. The Ken was about to get knocked up. A third heavy mortar 5. He got 6 and 10 kills. 9 and 3 kills. He actually killed more of his own there than they did the enemy. Not quite great there for Eisernes Kreuz. I need to reload it again. We'll have to see what it's going to go for in terms of armor if it gets there. Need to get the line for guns, I think, dealing with some of the support weapons from the center here in the west side here. Sturmpioneer managing to concussive grenade and the conscript suppressing the lot, but the T-34 there pretty much forced the Sturmpioneer to retreat. Sturmtiger again reloading here. Line for guns bombarding here. Deploying a significant smoke screen here, but the center there, grab the Germans, is quickly forced off there. As the T-34 rushing the east side, there we got a full assault to push back here by the other T-34. Sturmtiger's almost ready to try and fire again and hopefully hit something. Heading for the western point there. Go. Sturmtiger ready once more. What will Kreuz go for next in terms of, I mean, he's got the field pretty much for like most of the stuff in the schwer punted quarters. The question is what to go for there. Go Conscript trying to dodge the Sturmtiger here. More troops moving in there. Rendered the point neutral. See, despite its fearsome firepower, like, you know, as you can see, the Angreifen doing a fairly good job at, like, just causing it to do nothing. And mostly just waste time. Which does highlight why so many players nowadays at the high levels really don't bother with the Sturmtiger. Like, theoretically, it's very powerful if it hits. The problem is, again, most people are increasingly good at ensuring the stuff doesn't get hit a lot of the time, which really limits what you can do with the Sturmtiger. Because, again, they'd obviously have to scale down its powers immensely compared to, like, its actual war counterpart. Because, again, ours would just be busted, so there's a lot of stuff there going on. But ultimately, it does highlight the Sturmtiger is just in this awkward spot. We got, there you go, delayed high explosive shells here. A fuse bombs there against the schwer Panzerkorps plus a Katyusha. It's going to knock that one out. He's really likely to start hitting hard at his opponent. He needs to lean heavier on the Sturm part of the Sturmtiger, in a sense. Otherwise, I think he's just going to, like, end up losing. And at this rate, he's going for another chem, so I think at this point he's pretty much given up on, like, getting out any armor from this schwer punted quarters. That didn't kill anything either. The Sturmtiger really hasn't proved to be a great investment for Eisernes quite so far. The actual one ever did either, so I guess he's staying to history on that one. But anyways, Conscious Orbs on here, and folks are all finding out here in the center. T-34, of course, proved to be the crucial element here. Again, we're creeping up, more folks flanking in here against Angreifen. So I'm guessing at this point he's going to have to, like, hope to set up for a King Tiger somehow. I suppose build another schwer punted quarters. Sturmtiger's on ready to fire again there. Go more pushing the center. Smoke deployed here, causing a bit of a mess here for Angreifen defenses. Not ready for that once more. Sturmtiger could theoretically try to assist here now. It's much more in these situations where I think the Sturmtiger might actually have a chance to, like, deliver some more, you know, painful blows to Angreifen rather than trying to deal with harassers on the left flank and so on. T-34 knocked up with the Kenmos. Good kill here for Eisernes Kreuz. Better blow that to Angreifen. Another T-34 immediately on the way, of course, for Angreifen. He can easily replace them. Very easily. T-34 on the flank. Anti-tank going at it as well. Line of guns being exposed as well here. And there goes, going to ram it, and then it's going to use anti-tank Overwatch, at which point Kreuz's Sturmtiger is like going to get knocked out here. Grenade here on the consequence, they rush for it. Mostly just charging in like this to just ensure there's line of sight here for the anti-tank Overwatch. Also to pelt with a few anti-tank grenades to like increase there, so he's willing to sacrifice some of them because as long as the Sturmtiger goes down, it doesn't matter. That said, he does arguably pay a bit of a high price, but the crucial part is his R is very much ahead. His opponent doesn't have like any issue of replacing the Sturmtiger, and also just didn't do a lot for him. So, well, he did lose 2 consequence squads, which is honestly alongside the T-34 for a bit of a massive cost. Like in terms of the larger scheme of things, it might be slightly survivable for Angreifen. Again, not super optimal. He's routed. Also, of course, worth noting, the Soviets had nothing at all like that in the actual. Like, none of the armies did, honestly, but least of all, the Soviets. They were not known for their accuracy with artillery. They were known for having a lot of it, but not necessarily for being accurate with it. Certainly not accurate to the point they could, like, pinpoint hit tanks. Fun fact. Full shot in the disco here. Okay, was at the ready here. Could salvage your Sturmtiger for a bit of fuel, I suppose. We'll have to see what the Kreuz does next. But the Sturmtiger was definitely a bit of a massive disappointment here for us as Kreuz, to put it gently. And there you go, lost the Orbison squad here. Things are starting to get extra painful for us as Kreuz versus Angreifen. He still has a fair amount of infantry, does have quite a few Raketenwerfers too, and some light infantry guns, but yeah, he's definitely taking some beatings. And hey, mortars just continue to be a very solid set of investments here for Angreifen. There's Eisernes Kreuz. West side, we got engineers probing up there. We got another truck out there, guessing mechanized, but it could still be another schwer punted quarters. We'll have to see again what it ends up with from Eisernes Kreuz. Either way, though, it's not going to be like easy in part because he's just bleeding out so aggressively in part again due to the heavy mortars, but also the T-34s. Does mean the Kreuz's infantry takes a lot of losses, and that makes it hard for him to go up for armor. This is a bit of the other reason why going for the Sturmtiger he did was a bit of a mistake, because again, the Sturmtiger doesn't, you know, help leave pressure consistent enough from the infantry to save up manpower more easily. That would be, you know, the job of an actual tank. So Kreuz kind of like, you know, for that reason, made a few strategic errors there with that Sturmtiger move. We do get the schwer punted quarters, so no attempt at the King Tiger. I mean, he's probably not on delusion. He would be able to go for it because, again, 720 manpower, we can barely at times can like hold up 200 manpower. Like, going for a King Tiger under current circumstances would be, quite frankly, delusional. Demo charges here, ground western field points, and there goes schwerer punted quarters number 2 up here, Eisernes Kreuz. I mean, even a Panther 4 right now for Kreuz from it is going to be pretty ambitious, but at least more achievable than going for a King Tiger. Full shot in the disc in the center here, big push Eisernes Kreuz, disco quick to make use of the sprint ability. Which you should find with another barrage. Got 266, 173. I mean, Kreuz still has a victory point of Angreifen, but that's about really the only major lead Kreuz has really got going over him, and I suppose that and a lot of anti-tank guns. 18 kills on that one. The heavy mortars again, just really solid investment. Again, it's not like the Landwehr guns haven't been doing much either, but he's clearly not been quite able to barrage as much as he would like to compared to Angreifen. Fresh wave attack from Angreifen from the Red Army. Buford on the west side here. Probably try and see if we can't silence those heavy mortars with the light infantry guns. They mostly seem to rely on them for auto-barraging, which is typically less efficient. Fulton Guineas here. He's almost wiped out. Back to base, reinforcing healing. We got coming up here for Angreifen and the Red Army, another glorious red banner assaulted towards the carve point. Schwerer Panzerquarters up authorized. And again, easily has the field for pretty much whatever he wants to. Again, a pressing matter. Not pressing, because I'm not Sean Connery. Is he doesn't have enough manpower. He's also floating an absurd amount of munitions. Because again, he hasn't been laying down mines. When he could have as much, or, you know, any boob trip with his orbitals on either. There's definitely some room there to also, you know, made to use of munitions more efficiently. This is, again, is also where, like, you know, maybe going for an actual tank run. The Sturmtiger initiative would also been better because, you know, he could have used the Panzer Commander to call in a bunch of artillery. So, definitely some issues that sort of, shall I say, came together to create a bigger mess here for Kreuz. Angreifen creeping forwards here, laying down more and more sandbags. Continuing on the west side here. T-Fed for calls already. A lot of arcade maps around here with any so advancing so tanks. Go, almost got the T-Fed for some 6. One more rocket, but the T-Fed for, of course, is quick enough to escape from that. Till found the center hammering that third heavy mortar crew here. Destiny 3 here. Almost got it. Almost got it. Almost got it. Close but not quite there for Kreuz. You can actually go for a Panther 4 now. I'm sure you could go for a Panther, but I think right now Panther 4 would A, be faster, and also crucially just more useful as all the infantry and support weapons. Whereas the Panther has a much more narrow, you know, band of stuff it can deal with. Look at the conscripts here. Burning out the conscripts, burning through it rapidly. Frontovix around here as Kreuz dashes through there. Does appear like Kreuz is losing steam here, and he goes about to lose his Schwerpanzer, of course, because again, he did that instead of just going for a tank as soon as he could. He wanted the bigger option again, and yeah. Definitely feels like Kreutz's own ambitions are basically biting him in the arse fairly consistently at this point. You just go for a Panther 4 when he could have. And then a Sturmtiger once he's stabilized for that Panther 4. Oh, T-Fed moving up, engaging the Volkswagen Sturmpuny out in the open. Volkswagen moving up in the center here. There we go. Schwer Panzerquarters number 2 down. Quite a blow there to Kreuz. Great kill there for Angreifen. Hey, more to 10 kills, Destiny 3. Flanked though by the Volksgrenadier and the Sturmgewehrs. Dashing push for the center by Eisernes, Kreuz again, Angreifen. Panthers there, damaging the engine. Truck on the way there again. Third truck there. This would be a pretty good target for Katyusha, I think. Or heavy mortar barrage too. Full squad about to get wiped here in the center. Straight into mine, suffers the wipe. Massive push by Angreifen, a huge wave of infantry and Molotovs. Shots fired there. Full squad about to get wiped out. Number 2. Ken's being routed here as well. Line of guns also quite exposed. There we go, another unit wiped here. Kreuz really falling apart here now. And we got a mechanized regiment now and attempting to go for the Königstiger. I think at this point Kreuz may start to realize this is pretty much how he's trying to go for a King Tiger anyways in the current circumstances. Just moving forwards. Katyusha barrage here, raining down death inside the base. Casualties still piling up. There you go. GG game over. Kreuz retreats. The battle is over. There you go. GG game over. Nice back and forth fight. But in the end, Kreuz, I think, was undone by his ambitions. Again, the Sturmtiger just... Again, there's a reason most people don't use it. Not to say he can't use it, but he really should have had some tanks out in the field before going for the Sturmtiger. Because otherwise he just, again, managed to put himself into like this manpower bleed loop you can't really get out of easily. And I think that's the major plus. Again, just a lack of like using munitions efficient, like mines, boober traps. Again, artillery call-ins with the Panzer Command ability, I think further just, you know, meant his resource expenditure was quite inefficient. And that also, I think, favored Angreifen in the longer run. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. I learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on it. Tell friends, tell family, but don't tell enemies. This is Imperial Links, cheers, and see you all tomorrow for another episode. Bye.